Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 1382, 1382. And I'm your friend, your podcast friend, your podcast pal, Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. In the last place on earth. Today, Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, the brewmaster, plus the segment that I love called Ridiculous Random Posts.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Ridiculous Random Posts in the internet world, my friend. And speaking of the internet
Mike's
world,
Daily Podcast.
make sure you do your updates on your computer, because you don't want to get hacked. And then there's this ransomware thing that's out of whack, because you've gotta it's really whack. It's really whack. Because, my friend, it's a pack of crap. The ransomware. It encrypts your files.
Daily Podcast.
And even if you pay the ransom in Bitcoin, which makes Bitcoin the most illegal
Mike's
sounding bit
Daily
of currency
Podcast
ever. But
yeah.
And I produce a show for a guy that he has on interesting guests, and this one guest came on that talked all about Bitcoin. He knew everything, and he was so excited and enthusiastic about Bitcoin. Young guy, beard, just got married, has a new baby, has a wife that looks great in a bikini. I don't know. Hey, it's the anniversary of the bikini today. We'll get into that. Look who walked in. Hi, Mom. How y'all doing? It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. Oh, hi, Benita. Hi. You're wearing a bikini. I know. Anniversary of the bikini. That's right. Look who else is here.
Mark, it's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you
What?
someone else walked in.
Oh, yeah, someone else did walk in.
Hello, Mike. I'm Mr. Delicious Earth Beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Hi, Brewmaster.
Drink some root beer or I'll cut you.
Oh. Scary. Okay. Thank you for the root beer.
Go!
You know, a couple people I know, women that I've been friends with a long time, I don't live near them anymore, and actually they're married and such. They posted pictures of themselves in bikinis over the 4th of July break. They're at the beach, and it's hot where we are. We have to wear a bikini.
Here's today's podcast picture.
I didn't post the podcast picture of my friends in bikinis, but it's sort of like, what the... No. That was uncalled for. That was completely unnecessary. And that was inappropriate behavior.
That is not appropriate behavior, okay?
Behave yourself.
But seriously, I mean, kudos to you. Kudos. Whatever a kudo is. I know what a cujo is. That was like a weird Stephen King book movie dog thing. And, oh, hi, Cujo. Hi. Ow. He just took my arm. Oh, well. Basil brought it back. Thank you, Basil. I'm just saying, it's a little surprising sometimes when you see your friends in a bikini that you had not seen before, especially your guy friends. But whatever, that's neither here nor there, over there, up there, over there, behind your ear, I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. I mean, Café Anyway.
Anyway.
It's great to have my button bar back. The only problem with doing the show in Pleasanton is I don't have access to this button bar, and I love this button bar. And I'd like to welcome you to the button bar. Can I pour you a drink? Well, I can't, but the wonderful brewmaster can.
That's right, Mike. Enjoy some delicious Earth Beer. Oh, boy. Girls in bikinis.
Yeah, we'll get to that story in a moment, but ransomware... This whole thing, they had a specialist on C-SPAN this morning, and he said you should update your computer. If you're suspicious about what the update is, go to the website of like Windows or whatever your operating system is, Apple, and make sure that it's the right update. It came from them, and that's what you should be updating to. and an air gap your back up. Any backup you have it away from your system, not connected at all to your system, and air gapped. I used to listen to a daily, it was called like InfoSec Daily or something, and I used to listen to it even though I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. But I found it maybe that's the people that listen to this show. And they were talking all about, have I even mentioned what the podcast picture was? I got sidetracked, sorry. Basil in the water. Yes, he was enjoying a wonderful playing in the water at the Hayward Regional Shoreline. I was talking about that yesterday, and how I saw wild artichokes growing. And Basil was in the water looking out, and you can see the clouds over. See, it's kind of an interesting picture if I describe this to you, in that the East Bay is awesome. To all you peninsula heads, you snob peninsula, you snob insulas that are insular, and you don't like us over here on the East Bay side of the Bay Area. Well, in the words of the wonderful band, the all-star band, Smash Mouth, I'd like to say to you, fush you, Mang. Fush you, Mang, because the wonderful, in this picture you can see, it's so sunny and beautiful here on the East Bay side, and there's a little bit of a beach at the Hayward Regional Shoreline, and Basil went into the water, was playing and digging in the sand and having a great time. Now, we would have gone to Half Moon Bay, but that's on the other side of the peninsula, and it is foggy and cold over there. And you can see in the picture, the podcast picture, off in the distance, the peninsula and clouds over the peninsula. That's why I hate the peninsula, because I dated a girl that I met on OkCupid that was a total crazy nut. A crazy nut who got married after we broke up about a couple months later. Maybe. But to each their own. One man's crazy nut is another man's angel. That's a true statement. That's true. Another statement is that, what do you call it? The necessity is a motherhood of something. You know what? The point is, you should air gap your backup and never trust, always verify. That's the statement I wanted to say, which is attributed to Reagan, but I think it's one that always verify. Now, I have verified these news stories as far as I can today, and I will get to those. We will get to those now. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is the website to go to listen to past shows, see past podcast pictures, help out the show through the Amazon. If you're going to buy on anything on Amazon, what you do is, I'm going to do it for you now. You click on that Amazon link, and my website disappears, and there's Amazon. And you can start shopping. And when you shop on Amazon, okay, bye now. You help us out if you go through the Mike'sDailyPodcast.com link first. There's also the PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way. And there are all the other links to social media. We're all over the place, my friend. We're even on Tumblr. Somebody messaged me on Tumblr, which I don't go on Tumblr too much, but if you message me on Tumblr, it may take me a month to respond to you, but they wanted to be on the show. So that's a great way to get a hold of me, or you can call me at 336-MM-DAILY, 336-MM-DAILY, or mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And now, let's get to the segment called
Ridiculous Random Posts.
These are posts that were posted to the internet by news sources that are ridiculous. The story content, just ridiculous. But sometimes the things in true life are ridiculous, my friend. My podcast pal. At a rally and parade in the border town of McAllen, Texas, yesterday, Ted Cruz clashed with a group of protesters who booed, heckled, and attempted to question him about his support for a bill that would repeal the Affordable Care Act. Cruz attempted to work the crowd and shake hands while avoiding the protesters who held up signs reading, "We're pissed! No Medicaid cuts! No transfer of wealth for our kids. Our health. Wait, no transfer of wealth for our health. There we go. And the number 4 instead of the word for. A reference to the massive tax cuts for the wealthy in the Senate GOP's healthcare bill. Other protesters held signs attacking Cruz for his position on immigration and climate change. He's running for re-election and fending off a challenge from Beto O'Rourke, a Democrat. He acknowledged the loud protest when he took the podium to speak yesterday morning. I will say, you have a right to speak, and I will always defend your right. When later asked by a reporter about the protesters, however, he dismissed them as a small group of people on the left who right now are very angry. He wrapped up his appearance by riding through the streets of McAllen in a vintage convertible that was purple because he's gay. What? Huh? Purple because he's a Prince fan. What? Huh? These assumptions. That last part was an assumption. He just rode in a purple. Purple's a nice color. I like purple. Purple rain. After canceling a friend of mine, Stormy Phoenix, went to see Sheila E. in concert at the fair. And Sheila E. at the Alameda County Fair did a tribute to Prince, a song that he wrote specifically for her longtime friend and someone who collaborated with her many times. And her big hit songs were because of Prince, basically, and his input. And she did a tribute song to him, and my friend Stormy Phoenix cried. She said she got very teary-eyed. She couldn't explain it, because she had seen Sheila E. before at the Stanislaus County Fair, but was not moved as much as this time at the Alameda County Fair. And I say, thank you for that story, Stormy. The Stormy story. Facebook is challenging the government over data searches that are possibly related to protests that happened during Donald Trump's inauguration. Facebook received warrants from prosecutors to search 3 accounts. Those were accompanied by non-disclosure orders preventing it from telling the affected users about any investigation. The gag orders may have come about because in February, the social network warned some protesters that police were digging around in their Facebook accounts. Some of the Trump inauguration arrests were denounced by press freedom organizations because they involved journalists. The New York Times said these felony charges are bizarre and essentially unheard of when it comes to journalists here in America who are just doing their jobs. Facebook lost an initial challenge to the gag order but took the case to the D.C. Court of Appeals. The decision is still pending, but the court did rule that Facebook and the government could post an unsealed notice to any groups with an interest in the matter. And as we continue in the tech world, USA Today wrote today, technologies such as artificial intelligence, voice and gesture-driven computing, and autonomous driving all provide different ways to interact with many of the devices and products we already know. In some cases, they'll lead to new products, as in the case with Amazon's popular Echo line of smart speakers equipped with the Alexa digital assistant, which somebody had outside as I took the wonderful Basil the Boxer on a walk yesterday, as it was just starting to get dark. We were walking. We walked up a hill. We walked up a hill there, and there was this little area in this part of Podcaster Valley called Columbia, and you can look out over the bay, and we could see all the fireworks going off. And Basil isn't too bothered by the explosions. The really big ones, he'll kind of look at me, but he keeps going. He doesn't run and hide or anything. He has the heart of a lion, my friend. Big, scary lion. But there was a guy with his Amazon Echo sitting in one of his little cloth fold-out chairs, watching the fireworks. Gray beard. It looked like Barry Bostwick, if you know who that is. And then, and he's blasting Metallica. He's blasting, "Here I am up on stage." Gosh. I like maybe 1 or 2 Metallica songs. Not generally a fan. Does that mean I have to leave the Bay Area now? Okay, bye! It's fun. Hey, there's Marco. Hey, Marco.
Looks like you got to do it, or Angela.
Yeah. Hey, I was just having a conversation with Marco. Are we almost done? Hey, have you enjoyed this show today? All that article I was telling you about was so much is going on in the background. The big technological leaps are happening that we don't really see, and I hate this word, per se. Don't ever say that word around me. I hate it. So we're going to speak French now, per se, because we're lazy and we don't know how to say the word. I guess there is. What is the word? While you think about that, let me just tell you what happened on this day in history. The two-piece swimsuit made an explosive debut in Paris. Speaking of France, Louis Réal's abbreviated two-piece swimwear design debuts in a fashion show held at Paris' Molitor Pool. At a pool. Molitor Pool. Réal names his creation cut from 30 square inches of fabric, 30 beautiful square inches of fabric, after the recent nuclear bomb tests. He named them after the nuclear bomb tests that took place on Bikini Atoll, explaining, like the bomb, the bikini is small and devastating. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Isn't that amazing? That's where it came from. In itself would be a good replacement for per se, or by itself, or as such. There you go, as such, intrinsically, in essence, essentially. Oh, but people overuse essentially. I know I have some friends of mine that say essentially way too much. But whatever, crutch words, they're fun. Hey, this has been a fun show, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Air gap it, whatever you're going to do. Maybe you're going to take off the rest of this week. Then you're awesome, essentially. What's the other one people use? Way too much. Subsequently, if you think of one, let me know. 336MM Daily, or comment on any of the social media things. All right, Bikini, yay. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floor Man, and John Deere the Engineer. Oh, that reminds me. A friend of mine that used to do a segment on this show called
Welsh on the World.
He told me a story about a class he took, was taught by an Indian man. He had a very thick Indian accent. And we were discussing how the word essentially is overused and per se is overused. And what his teacher used to say was basically, but he would say it like this. So basically, you would have to do this with the basically, it would sound like that. Basically. Now, if you say basically, like basically, then that's fine, and you can replace per se and essentially all with that. That's my tip. And I forgot to mention yesterday's podcast picture was of the two flags sitting on top of that tower building near the Embarcadero in San Francisco. Very beautiful. Check that picture out. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Basically.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!